Tonight, several missile attacks reported across Ukraine. One Ukrainian official saying a cruise missile was on its way to Kyiv before it was shot down by air defenses. In Lviv, blasts targeting a railway system as Russia tries to block shipments of military weapons into Ukraine. It comes as Russia increases its assault on the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol, where hundreds of civilians remain trapped inside, including children, according to a Ukrainian official. One of the commanders inside had told us 20 children were there last night. President Zelensky saying moments ago that more than 150 people were able to get out of the plant in total during a brief evacuation effort brokered by the UN and the Red Cross. One woman says her family had been underneath that plant since March 2nd, 2 months ago, telling CNN, quote, "I never thought the earth could shake like that. It didn't just shake, the bunker jumped and trembled." Survivors sharing truly harrowing stories as Russia ramps up its attack across Ukraine. Sam Kiley is out front.
Since Russian rockets destroyed her home and killed her brother, all she has left is her mother and her life.
All at once, grads started falling one by one. There were explosions everywhere. Opposite the kitchen in a house, the windows and frame blew into a room. We are standing there. My brother was making the sign of the cross, and I'm shouting. I turned away from him to look at the house, and then another rocket hit, and I was trapped under the rubble. I can't see my brother anymore. I fell, and I don't even know how I woke up and started pulling myself out. I'm all scratched and battered. I yelled, "Vitya, Vitya," but he was gone.
Ludmila's home was flattened in Lysychansk during the battle for Rubizny, which is now in Russian hands. Putin's forces have been driving southeast along the Donetsk River and south from Izium. Russia's stated aim is to capture all of the Donbass, and that includes Luhansk and Donetsk provinces. The governor of Luhansk says that Ukraine can hold the Russians back, for now. But he says we need powerful long-range artillery, and that unfortunately is not here yet, and it could completely change the whole war. Without the heavy weapons already promised by the US and other Western allies, he says, the Russians will destroy everything with artillery and mortars. They destroy with aircraft, they use helicopters. They're just wiping everything off the face of the earth, so there's nothing left to hang on to. For Ukraine, this is an existential battle. Reinforcements are being rushed to the front lines, but there's no sign of the heavy weapons needed to block a Russian advance, much less reverse it. The doctor says Ludmila will be moved west for more treatment, but her fate and that of her 96-year-old mother is unknown. We simply cannot physically handle so many wounded with such severe injuries, he says. This elderly woman, a victim of Russian shelling that morning, joins the ward. And more than 13 million other Ukrainians have fled their homes to escape Ludmila's fate.
I was brought here naked. I have nothing at all. No money, no documents, nothing.
Yet her very survival is a small victory over Putin, because she's been neither beggared nor beaten.
Now, Erin, as a recent visit we paid to the front line up the road towards Izium, that very important thrust being made by the Russians is being held back by the artillery being fired back at them by the Ukrainians. This is not just a one-direction war. The Ukrainians are fighting back ferociously. The Russians are making very small incremental progress in this northern front. And I think that is why the governor there underlined the critical need for the much more sophisticated NATO weaponry that really could turn the war around here. It really could put the Ukrainians on the front foot, Erin.
All right, Sam, thank you very much. Out front now, U.S. Ambassador to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, the OSCE, Michael Carpenter. And Ambassador, I really appreciate your time tonight. You have been warning that Russia is ready to annex Luhansk and Donetsk in eastern Ukraine, the entire oblasts, and could also declare Kherson an independent republic. What more can you tell us about Putin's plans and the timing here?
Yeah, so thanks, Aaron. We have credible information that Russia is planning to possibly annex these two regions of Ukraine as early as mid May, and that they are looking at possibly conducting a sham referendum in Kherson Oblast to declare a so called People's Republic, similar to what they've done in Donetsk and Luhansk. This is part of the Kremlin's playbook. We've seen this before. And so they have replaced local officials with Russian proxies and puppets. They've cut cell phone and internet coverage so that they can stop reliable information from getting in. They've decreed that they're going to use the Russian ruble. So we're looking very closely to see if they execute on this plan. But we do have indications that this could be afoot.
And of course, that would, sizably they'd be biting off larger and larger chunks of Ukraine if they do this. Ambassador, U.S. and Western officials have also said that Putin could formally declare war on May 9th. And that would basically, from a technical perspective, that would allow him, right, to have a draft, mass conscription. Pope Francis today, though, said that the Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban, told him that Putin actually plans to end the war on that day, which, of course, is an important day in Russian history, sort of a patriotic so-called victory day. Are you seeing any indication that Orban is correct?
We're seeing, Aaron, absolutely no indications that Putin is about to end this war. Although it has been an abject failure for Russia, they lost the Battle of Kiev and Ukraine won. But we see all indications that they're refocusing and regrouping their forces in the south and east. And in fact, a large offensive is underway right now in the Donbass. No indications whatsoever that that is about to abate.
So, Russia ambassador is putting out new numbers today, saying more than 11,000 Ukrainians have been taken from eastern Ukraine to Russia in just the past 24 hours. These are Russian numbers. And the Russian Defense Ministry says so far in the war, more than 1 million Ukrainians, 200,000 of them children, have been taken into Russia. And we know from many reports that thousands of Ukrainians, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, perhaps, are being held against their will at these so-called filtration camps, and many forcibly being taken to Russia. What information do you have about the filtration camps and about Ukrainians being forced to Russia against their will?
Well, we're getting a lot of reports of these filtration camps. And indeed, there have been eyewitness accounts, people who have either managed to somehow escape, or I think in the preponderance of cases, they've been prisoners who've been traded and came back to Ukraine and have been able to tell their stories either to Ukrainian officials or to the international media. And the accounts are just harrowing. I mean, they go to these filtration camps. God knows what happens if you don't, quote unquote, pass. There have been a lot of people disappeared and they're missing. We don't know what's happening to them. Others have come out and alleged torture. It's just inconceivable that we could be talking about this in the year 2022, but that's the reality that we're seeing.
What do you think the real number of Ukrainians is who are being put in these filtration camps or being held against their will by
Oh,
Russia?
God. It's impossible to say at this stage. There's a lot of unknowns. I suspect the figure is higher than whatever the estimates are at this point in time. And similarly, when the international community gets access to the city of Mariupol, what we're going to see there, I think, is going to be just absolutely harrowing and horrifying. We all saw the images from Bucha and just how monstrous that was. And all indications are that something similar has been happening in Mariupol over the last couple of weeks.